Good day to all of you. Once again, this is your teacher Daniel, and today, pag-aaralan natin is we are going to illustrate linear equations in two variables. Dito na natin mas ma-appreciate yung topic natin about locating and plotting points, yung dinevise ni René Descartes, ano po. So, for the meantime, ipagpalagay natin na there's a farm in Panbuhan, Northern Samar, that sells organic eggs which cost 5 pesos per egg. They sell and deliver it to small stores, round trip Katarman via Pambuhan, spending 150 pesos for the delivery truck gasoline. If X represents the number of eggs delivered, and Y for the cost of merchandise, how would it cost them if they deliver, let's say, 50 eggs, 100 eggs, 150 eggs, 200 eggs, 250 eggs, 0 eggs, or let's say 10,000 eggs. So ganito po 'yun. Meron daw pong nagtitinda ng organic eggs. 5 piso bawat isa. So, syempre, pag dineliver nila yung kanilang paninda, gagastos sila sa gasolina nung truck na nagdi-deliver. Ang gastos nila is 150 pesos. So, much probably, dinadagdag yun sa cost of merchandise para mabawi agad yung pinanggasolina. Yan. So, ngayon, ang tanong is, magkano kaya yung magiging cost ng merchandise kung magdi-deliver sila ng 50 itlog, 100 itlog, 150 eggs, 200 or 250 eggs, and so on. Sige, susubukan natin. Let's say, nagbenta sila ng, kung magbebenta sila ng, let's say, isang itlog. Ayan, sa isang itlog, magkano kaya yung cost ng merchandise? Siyempre, magkano ba yung itlog? Di ba 5 piso? O, edi 5 piso, siyempre, isasakay pa nila yun sa truck, yung isang pirasong itlog, tapos, magdi-deliver sila. Hindi gagastos sila ng 150 just for one egg. Pero ipagpalagay nga natin, nga nangyari nga yun. So, that is, 5, kasi 5 pesos yung itlog, times, isang itlog, equivalent, syempre yung cost ng merchandise is 5 times, kung 5 yung presyo, tapos kung ilang piraso, that is 5 pesos, plus yung pinanggasolina, which is 150. So that is equivalent to 155, because that is 5 times 1 plus 150, that is 155. Kung halimbawa, nag-deliver tayo ng 2 itlog. 5 times 2 again plus 150. Impractical naman na mag-deliver ka ng 2 itlog, 2 pirasong itlog lang, 'di ba? Isasakay mo sa truck. Pero let's just say na nangyari nga po 'yun. This is just to illustrate kung anong yung nangyayari dun sa cost of merchandise natin whenever we have this number of eggs. So that is 5 times 2 is 10 plus 150. Syempre, ang cost ng merchandise natin is 160. Kasama na yung pinanggasolina. So let us be much more realistic this time. What if nag-deliver nga sila ng 50 itlog for that day? Okay, so that is 5 times 50 plus 150. It's equivalent to, so let's say 5 times 50, that will be 250 plus 150, that will be 400. How? Let's say, nag-deliver naman sila ng 100 itlog for that day. So, let us try. That is 5, yung presyo ng itlog, times 100, plus 150. That is equivalent to 5 times 100, 500. So 500 plus 150, that is 650. What if nag-deliver sila ng 150 eggs? So 5 times 150 eggs plus yung pinanggasolina, which is 150. So that will be 5 times 150 plus 150. That will be equivalent to 900. Double check na natin kung tama tayo. 5 times 150, 750, 850, 900. Okay. Now, let's say nag-deliver naman sila this time ng 200 eggs. I hope nakikita nyo na yung pattern at this point, ano? May pattern siya, no po? Tina-times lang naman siya sa 5, dinadagdagan ng 150, and you have the result. Let's say 200 eggs plus 150. So that will be baka nagtataka ko po kayo, no? I'm using calculator po para mas madali yung computation natin. Anyway, I'm allowing you to use your calculator at this particular lesson. Please, I want you to have your own scientific calculators. So 5 times 200 plus 150 is equivalent to 1,150. Okay, 200 times 5, 1,000. Okay, tama. Let's say, nag-deliver tayo ng 250 eggs. So, hulaan nyo nga kung anong gagawin natin. Malamang, that is 5 times 250. Kasi 5 nga, katulad nung in-explain ko kanina, yung 5, yung pressure ng itlog eh. Plus, syempre, yung panggasolina, which is 150. That will be the cost of merchandise. So 5 times 250, 5 times 250 plus 150, so 1,400. Sir, hindi ba nagbabago yung hindi ba nagbabago yung gasolina, yung cost, yung amount ng gasolina kung halimbawa habang bumibigat yung laman ng truck? In this case, gradual lang naman yung paglaki or pagdami nung kinakarga nilang itlog. Hindi siya nakakaapekto masyado dun sa bigat nung truck. Sa madaling salita, di hamak na mas mabigat pa nga yung truck kaysa dun sa kaysa dun sa karga nilang merchandise. So, ang lang diyan, ang laban lang nila diyan sa negosyo nila, yung distance. Yung from Pambuhan to Katarman, ganun. So let's say let's say 0, pwede ba yun? 0, 5 times 0 plus 150, meaning hindi sila walang laman yung truck. Walang laman. Anong ginawa nila dun? Siguro ko naglakwatsa lang sila, tapos wala silang daladalang merchandise. Syempre gagastos talaga sila ng panggasolina pa rin. So that is equivalent to 150. O kaya naman may dala silang merchandise, pero pagdating nila sa Katarman or pagdating nila dun sa kanilang destination, walang kumuha. For the reason na kunyari, yung bawat tindahan na dinideliveran nila is meron pa silang itlog at ayaw pang kumuha ng bagong or ayaw pang kumuha ng fresh deliveries kasi masisira or matatalo sila sa number of merchandise. Ganun. Baka may stock yung kanilang merchandise kasi kuha sila ng kuha, wala pa masyadong bumibili, lalo na sa mga panahon ngayon, di po ba? O let's say kumuha nga siya ng 10,000 eggs. Oh, this is much more realistic. Ito talaga yung nangyayari kasi pag nagdi-deliver naman talaga ng itlog, yung mga truck na yan, tapos punta sa mga sari-sari stores or pumupunta dun sa mga bawat tindahan na parang nag-wholesale sila. So, again, 5 times 10,000 plus 150. So 5 times 10,000 plus 150. So that is equivalent to 50,150. So I hope at this point in time, nakikita nyo po na meron tayong pattern. Ano po? Meron po tayong pattern. So, sa tingin niyo ba, ano kaya yung magiging ano natin? How are we going to relate it into a mathematical expression? That is simply, ito yung nagiging result, di po ba? Itong nasa right ng equality natin. Siya yung nagiging result. Ang tawag sa kanya is dependent variable. Nakadepende yung kanyang result sa kung ano yung laman nito. At ang tawag natin dyan is independent variable. Kasi ikaw yung nagdidikta niyan. Kung ilang itlog yung diniliver natin. Now, meron tayo dito mga constant, di po ba? May constant tayong 5, tas may constant tayong 150. Lagi-lagi natin siyang sinusulat. Ang nagbabago lang dyan, yung independent variable na 50, 100, 150 kasi ikaw nagdidikta niyan. And then, kasabay nun, nagbabago yung dependent variable, etong cost of merchandise which is 400, 650, 900. And alam nyo ba, pwede natin yang ilagay into a mathematical expression. So that will be 5 times x plus 150 is equivalent to y. O pwede rin natin siyang baligtarin. That is y is equivalent to 5x plus 150. Wherein, yung x is the number of eggs. Kung ilan yung eggs na dinideliver, times 5 lang, plus 150 sa panggasolina, yung y, yun yung total cost of merchandise. I hope nakuha nyo po yun. So, this will be our new mathematical expression for this problem. Okay, so let us just try to recall. Kasama na yun, this is one way to relate our topic with our previous topic, which is the Cartesian coordinate system. Di po ba? So, isa to sa mga application, isa napakagandang application na dinevise ni René Descartes, wherein it allows us to graph functions. Allows us to graph ordered pair. So in this case, ayan o, y is equivalent to 5x plus 150. Yan po yung naging mathematical expression natin. After natin malaman yung takbo ng cost of merchandise, wherein yung 5, yun yung presyo ng itlog, yung x is kung ilang itlog yung dinideliver nyo araw-araw or for that day. At yung 150, which is constant, siya yung ginastos nyo for the gasoline. Kasi kinukuha doon or sinasama na agad sa cost of merchandise para pag alis ng truck, alam ng bookkeeper or alam ng accountant na ito yung dala-dala nyong merchandise at dapat ito yung perang bumalik. Parang ganun. Sige. So whenever you deliver 50 eggs, that costs 400 pesos, 100 for 650, 150 eggs, 900 pesos, 200 for 1,150, 250, 1,400, and yung zero, meaning it's either naglakwatsa lang yung driver dun sa pagdideliveran niya, talagang hindi naman talaga siya nagdala ng merchandise, or may dala-dala siyang merchandise pero bumalik siya, wala siyang na-distribute because lahat ng tindahan na pinuntahan niya is hindi pa kumukuha ng itlog For the reason na baka meron pa silang stocks. Okay. So again, pumunta lang yung truck doon, bumalik din, the same merchandise yung dala-dala niya. Hindi nabawasan. So that is 0 delivered eggs plus yung syempre yung gasolina ang ginastos nila, kailangan kasama yun. So that is 150. Now, let us try to graph. I-graph natin yung ating relationship. Ano kayo magiging itsura? So, you have here na the values for the x-axis and you have here na the values for the y-axis. Ano po? Yes sir, ang lalaki naman yan. Wala nang problema yan kasi gagamit naman tayo ng scale. Kung gusto mong ang scale natin sa x-axis is 10, 20, 30, 40. Kung gusto mo na, kasi malaki yung sa y-axis. So, pwede natin 100, 150, 200, 250. Pwedeng ganun. Or kung gagamit po kayo ng GeoGebra, pwede natin siyang i-zoom in, i-zoom out. Yun ang kagandahan nito. Ang GeoGebra po nakakatulong sa atin pag-graph. So kung sa GeoGebra tayo mag-graph, ang gagawin lang natin, input lang natin ito, y is equivalent to 5x plus 150. Lalabas agad yung graph niya. Para dun sa mga hindi pa gaanong bihasa sa pag-graph, susundin lang natin yung susundin natin yung ating ordered pair, the XY ordered pair, at ipa-plot natin siya sa graph. Tapos ang gagawin lang naman natin sa x and y axis, gagawan lang naman natin siya ng scale. So in this graph alone, yung x-axis natin, ang scale niya is 50 by 50, 1 is to 50. Itong x-axis natin, 1 is to 50. Ayan, so it's a multiples of 50 for short. So that is 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300. Yun yung number of eggs na pwede nating i-deliver. While yung ating y-axis, that it represents the cost of merchandise. At ang kanyang scale by 100. So 1 is to 100. Yan po yung scale niya. So that is 100, 200. Pwede natin gawin ganun yung ating graph. Ang tanong lang naman dito is, ano yung itsura nung graph? Iyon po. So let us start to discover. So let's say x is 50. For x is 50, y is 400. Ayan. X is 50, y is 400. Another ordered pair is, if x is 100, cost of merchandise will be 650. So this will be the cost of merchandise. Linawin ko lang cost of merchandise. And this is in pesos. Ito namang nasa baba, this is the number of eggs. The number of eggs delivered. Ayan. Now, let us continue. Let's say 150 and 900. Okay, so 150 and 900. Now, baka magtanong po kayo, sir, bakit po yung B parang wala ata sa wala ata sa linya. So tingnan natin mabuti. 100 yung na-deliver na egg. Ito po, na itlog. Ayan, 100 yung na-deliver na itlog. Tapos yung cost of merchandise is just 900. So kung mapapansin nyo po, yung denomination na 650, sorry, 650. So yung pagitan ni 600 at saka ni 700, that is actually 650. Nandito sa gitna, di po ba? This is 650. Ano po? So malamang yung natin, yung point natin nandun sa gitna. Para dun sa mga hindi pa bihasa paano mag-plot ng point, please balikan nyo po yung previous videos natin about how to locate or plot points on a Cartesian coordinate system. Now let us proceed. If you delivered 200 eggs, you have 1,150, the cost of merchandise, pesos. And if you have 250 you have a cost of merchandise which is 1,400. Siyempre, wag nating kalimutan yung wala tayong na-deliver, wala tayong na-distribute. Wala tayong na-distribute, gagastos pa rin tayo sa gasolina. So that is 0 and 150. Now, tanong, ano ko yung itsura ng graph pag kinonect natin siya? So, pag kinonect po natin siya, ang itsura po ng graph is a line wherein lahat po ng points along this line, lahat po ng points along this red line is the solution of y is equivalent to 5x plus 150. Ito pong y is equivalent to 5x plus 150. Ang tawag po natin dyan is linear equations. Pag napunta tayo sa functions, pag na-explain ko na sa inyo yung all about relation and functions, we will try to refrain from using the word equation, and instead we will replace it by function. So ang gagawin natin, linear function, but they just pertain to, I'm just pertaining to what is this, almost similar things. Anyway, ito yung tinatawag na nating linear equation wherein yung itong x po is yung ating independent variable at yung y natin is yung dependent variable. Kasi nakadepende yung result ni dependent variable dun sa magiging value ng x. Ganito po ang itsura ng linear equation, at ang graph ng linear equation is a line. Kaya siya tinawag na linear. Ano po? Bakit siya tinawag na in two variables? Recall lang po natin linear equations in two variables. Okay, bakit po siya tinawag na linear equations in two variables? Two variables kasi gumagamit tayo ng dalawang variable. Those variables are x and y. Meaning, those variables are the independent and dependent variables. Iyan po. So, sa tingin nyo ba kaya nyong i-graph yung mga situations natin? May mga situations kasi tayo na linear in nature. And I hope by presenting to you this topic, matutunan natin kung paano express yung situation mathematically in terms of linear equations. And pangalawa, matutunan natin kung paano naman siya i-graph. Now, mahalaga ba yung topic natin? Mahalaga po. Kasi halimbawa, if you're already a corporate person at pinag-uusapan nyo is millions and millions of pesos, so it would be inconvenient kung yung presentations nyo, corporate presentations nyo is what is this? By numbers or by table. Hindi haba nun, di ba? Mapuno yung opisina nyo sa dami nyong isusulat. Instead, you're going to use graphical representations, and one of this is linear graphs. Ayun po. Okay? Now, the relation between these two variables, x and y, like 50, 400, 100, 650, 150, 900, 200, and so on and so forth, is said to be one-to-one correspondence. Bakit siya tinawag na one-to-one correspondence? Kasi po, we only have one value for x and we have only one value for y. At pag grinap natin sila, lalo na, higit sa lahat, they resemble line. The domain here for x is x such that x is under the element of real numbers. To be specific, all the domains are mentioned on this table for the value of x, and all of these are real numbers: 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, and 0. Now, for the real numbers, for the for the range, kasi pag sinabing domain, value ni x. Pag sinabing range, value ni y. Okay. And for our range, it composed of y such that y is under the element of real numbers. Again, real numbers pa rin naman to be specific. Those are the values of 400, 650, 900, 1150, 1400, 150, and they are all real numbers. Now, let us try to have one more problem. Let me read to you the problem. A bucket or 40 pieces per bucket, 40 pieces of donut balls cost 300 pesos. Pasensya na po dun sa picture natin. Yung picture kasi natin is 299, but syempre, i-approximate natin po yun or i-round off natin, piso na lang para maging 300. So we'll just use 300 pesos na lang, for convenience. If x represents the number of donut balls by pieces and y for the cost, how much will it cost if we buy 2 buckets, 3 buckets, 4 buckets, and 10 buckets? And what will be the equation and the graph of donut balls by piece versus cost? Okay, so isa-isahin natin, himay-himayin natin, just like nung naituro ko sa inyo before, whenever we answer word problems, chachap-chapin natin yung problem, and then iintindihin natin bawat phrase, bawat sentence, kasi kung hindi naman natin kayang bigla. Okay. So, yung isang bucket, ayan po, no, nasa picture po natin, yung parang bucket din siya ng, basta lalagyan siya, tapos pwede siyang lagyan ng pangmaramihan. Ang laman niya is 40 at nagkakahalaga yun ng 300. Kung yung x natin represents the number of donut ball by piece, take note. So that is by 40, by 80 kasi per bucket di ba? Pero ang gusto ng problem, we should represent it by pieces instead of using buckets. Pero understood na yun na whenever you have 40, isang bucket yun. And y for the cost, kung magkano yung magiging halaga niya or presyo niya, kung ilang piraso ng donut balls yung bibilhin natin, magkano raw kung 2 bucket, 3 bucket, 4 buckets, at saka 10 buckets. Okay. So, let's say x is the number of donut balls per piece, and y for the cost, kung magkano yung donut balls na yan, then we could express, katulad nung ginawa natin before, since it is linear, ang kakalabasan po kasi natin ng graph nito is magiging linear po ito later on. Kamukha rin siya or kawangki din siya nung ginawa natin before. Simple lang, magkano ba basta kumuha tayo ng 40. Syempre pagka x and y, pag kumuha ka ng 40, isang bucket 'yon, 300 pesos. Pagka kumuha ka ng let's say 2 bucket, so isang bucket, 2 bucket, 80 yung laman. So that is 600 pesos. And therefore, all we have to do is to multiply x by 300. So that is 300x. That will be y. So ibig sabihin 300 times kung ilang bucket yung binili natin, kung per bucket yung gusto nating bilhin. Paano kung per unit? So ang gagawin natin, i-divide natin yung 300 by 40 para malaman natin kung magkano yung presyo bawat donut balls. per piece. So all we have to do is to divide 300 divided by 40. So that will be 7.5. So ito yung per bucket at ito naman yung per piece. So that is y is equivalent to 7.5x. Okay. But since yung hinihingi ng problem is by piece, ito po. So ang susundin natin is itong y is equivalent to 7.5x. Ano kaya magiging itsura nung graph niya? Okay. So ituloy na lang natin yung table natin whenever you have 4 buckets, let's say 4 buckets. 3 buckets. 3 buckets, ang laman niya is 120 pieces. So magkano kaya magiging presyo niya? That is 900. Kung 4 buckets. Kung 4 buckets naman, ang laman niya is 160 pieces. At magkano kaya yung kanya magiging presyo? 369 and 1,200. Paano pag 10? 10 buckets. So ilang kaya yung laman ng nung that is 40 times 10 lang. So that is 400. At magkano kaya yung kanyang magiging price or presyo? So ang gagawin lang natin, we'll just use the equation. Yun ang kagandahan, no? Basta meron ka ng equation, you can compute on a even much higher number of pieces. So let us try kung tama nga yung ating equation, yung ating linear equation. Y is equivalent to 7.5 times kung ilang pieces. So, syempre, kung meron kang 10 bucket, by pieces, that is 400. So, all we have to do is to multiply 7.5 times 400. So, try nga na po natin. 7.5 times 400, that will be 3,000. Y will be 3,000. Ito na lang sulat, ano? So, we have if x is 400 pieces, meaning that is 10 buckets, y, yung presyo will be 3,000. Now, ano kayang itsura ng graph niya? Ayun po. All we have to do is to make use of this data or make use of these values para may graph po natin siya. Okay, so we have, if we buy 40, we have 300. If we have 80, 600, 120, 900, 160 pieces, that is equivalent to 1,200. Okay, so ang graph po niya, ganito po itsura. So check natin kung tama yung ating graph. 40, you have there 300, correct? If you have 80, ito po, 80, and then you have 600, tama? If you have 120, ito po, for x, if x is 120, y is 900, yan. And then 160, and then 1,200. Kung i-zoom out po natin yung graph, mas by means of graph alone, utilizing your GeoGebra, malalaman pa natin kung by just looking at the graph, simply by just looking at the graph, malalaman natin kung magkano yung magiging cost whenever you order 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, lalo na pagka in terms of corporate merchandise. Syempre malakihan, maramihan. So ang gagawin lang natin is i-zoom out lang natin yung graph. Makikita natin yung ibang values, mas mga malalaking values, at makikita agad natin immediately yung kung magkano yung magiging cost niya. Ito yung kagandahan ng linear equation sa graph. Napipredict natin yung mga susunod na values by just simply looking at the graph. So what will be the equation of, what will be our equation and graph of the donut balls by piece, by piece versus cost? So that is y is equivalent to 7.5x. Okay. I'm going to leave to you a home quiz. I want you to answer this at home. So, dalawa lang po ang gagawin nyo. You're going to describe its linear equation and you are going to graph. Kayo po ang masusunod kung anong scale ang gagamitin niyo po. So, suppose a corporation sells a large bottle of beer for 78 pesos. What will be the linear equation that will describe the standard retail price? And ano kaya yung magiging itsura niya? How the graph would look like? Ano yung magiging itsura niya sa graph? Ayan po. I hope may bago kayo natutunan about linear equations in two variables. And later on, may apply pa natin yung concept natin in other problems, real problems.